Making object shows are easy, right? Well, it would seem that way, but to be honest, there are a lot of mistakes everyone makes with their shows, even the most popular and seasoned show creators. Even me! Now, knowing these mistakes isn't going to instantly stop you from making them, but if you start to be aware of them, you can work against them. And be sure to watch to the end, because the final one is the one that will absolutely kill your object show. Without any further ado, these are the 4 mistakes that every object show creator makes. When I say uniqueness, I don't mean that your show has to be radically different from every show. If you want to make a silly competition show, go for it. If you want to take inspiration from your favorite shows, please do. If you want, there's nothing wrong with using the default BFDI assets. They're free to use for a reason. However, there is a difference between using a common formula and just not doing anything unique with your show. If every character in your show's personality is taken from another show, and their dynamics are copy-pasted, then what does your show have to offer? Not only will it make your show more popular if you create uniquely written characters, but it will let you be a whole lot more creative. It is worth noting that subversions of the traditional formula can be excellent. Shows that subvert the competition format, like Age of J1, or my show The Broadcast Objective, or shows that completely avoid the competition format, like The Nightly Manor, Twilight Orchards, and PB&GB. But the details don't particularly matter. All you have to do is give your show a unique edge to stand out. Find your own voice and people will listen. So, you've come up with original characters, fun interactions, and dynamics. Maybe you've even written the first episode. Now you can start work, right?
Does this mean I get to make a BFDI now?
Well, it isn't that easy. You need voice actors, of course. Then you have to edit the voice lines into a scene, with sound effects and music, whether that be original or stock. And then you should really storyboard your show, assuming that wasn't part of the writing process, which is where you plan the framing and movements of the animation before you animate the animation. Then you have to do the assets, backgrounds, animation, post-processing, editing, subtitles, title, description, thumbnail, and promotion. Seems easy, right? No. Well, don't let that be a deterrent, because guess what? You don't have to do this on your own. You have something called the power of friendship, or at the very least a somewhat less known power of acquainted collaboration. No object show is a one-man production. You ever look at the credits of an object show? You think those names are just there for fun, randomly? No! Those are the people who make the show! You need the help, and if you don't take it, you get this cool thing called burnout, where you get sad and hate your show. And you shouldn't hate your show. Your show is awesome, and you're awesome. And if you worry about the people you collab with not matching your visions, then be sure to ask them to send regular updates so you can guide them as they work. It's much easier to correct mistakes as they happen, rather than after everything's done. So, appeal. What is it? Well, it ain't this appeal. The 12 principles of animation define the final principle as appeal. Now, this doesn't mean that everything has to look physically beautiful. There are a lot of examples of quote-unquote ugly animation or art that is loaded with appeal. And when I say ugly, I'm not insulting it, it's really a part of its charm. Even simple styles work to their benefit. Optimizing animation to only what needs to be shown is a technique that's been done revolutionarily by a lot of anime and studios like Hanna-Barbera. Even in big productions recently, it's been emulated in productions like Into the Spider-Verse, Puss in Boots 2, and my show, The Broadcast Objective. And this kind of ties into a previous point, but feel free to make your style something unique too. Unique art styles, limited animation, 3D, stop motion, puppets, paper cutouts. There's no wrong way to make your show. Use Flip-A-Clip, use PowerPoint. There are no rules. Don't let money be a gatekeeper to you. But there is one fatal flaw that will absolutely destroy your show. You can make something great, but if you make this mistake, none of it will matter. The honest-to-God truth of creativity is that confidence matters more than you could ever think. Confidence is what gives you the boost to keep going, the bravery to post your first episode, and the character to make people believe in you. Because if you don't believe in you, then who will? It can be very tempting to look at your work and say it isn't good enough, to insult yourself and your work, to start all over. You may feel like redoing the first episode over and over again until it's perfect, but nothing is perfect. All you can be asked to do is your best, and your best is good enough, and it's only getting better. You can't start unless you actually start. So if your show doesn't get a lot of fame, that's okay. have confidence. You should be doing this for you. And if you're enjoying it, then that's all that should really matter. And really, this piece of advice doesn't just apply to making an object show, or even art in general. Beyond all that, confidence is the most important thing you can have in your day-to-day life. It can definitely be hard, but you deserve it. If you believe in you, if you can love you, then maybe everyone else can too. Well, it got a little bit sappy at the end, but those are the four most important things to making an object show, at least in my opinion. If you have any advice for people making object shows, or you want to talk about your experiences making one, put it in the comments and I'll be sure to respond. Thank you, and have a nice day.